What if I told you that the very thing you do every single day to stay healthy, your daily walk, might actually be the primary reason your knees are throbbing, clicking, and wearing down? It sounds like a contradiction. We are told from the moment we hit 50 that walking is the gold standard of low-impact exercise. But for millions of seniors, that daily stroll has turned into a source of chronic pain. I'm not talking about general wear and tear or just getting older. I'm talking about a specific, incredibly common mechanical error in how you move your feet and hips, a mistake so subtle that most physical therapists don't even catch it in a standard checkup. By the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly what this silent knee killer is, why your current walking shoes might be making it worse, and the 3-minute adjustment you can make today to start offloading the pressure from your joints and potentially save your cartilage. If you've been feeling like your good days are becoming fewer and further between, stick with me. This one matters for your independence. Hey, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, this is the place where we strip away the fluff and look at the hard biomechanical science behind aging well. My goal is to give you practical, actionable advice to keep you moving without the hype or the expensive equipment. Today, we are tackling knee pain, specifically for those of us in the silver years. Statistics tell a staggering story. Nearly 1 in 3 adults over the age of 65 suffers from knee pain. In the United States, we are looking at over 15 million seniors dealing with osteoarthritis in the knees alone. It is the leading cause of disability among older adults, often leading to a sedentary lifestyle that triggers a domino effect of other health issues like heart disease and weight gain. But here's the part that fascinates me. When we look at indigenous cultures where people walk miles a day well into their 80s and 90s, these rates of knee degeneration are almost non-existent. Why? Because it's not the walking that's the problem. It's the how. Let's dive into the anatomy of what's happening. Your knee is essentially a hinge joint sitting between two of the longest bones in your body, the femur in your thigh and the tibia in your shin. It is designed to handle immense vertical pressure. However, it is remarkably bad at handling shear or rotational force. This is where the common mistake comes in. Most seniors, often due to years of sitting or wearing certain types of footwear, develop what we call gluteal amnesia. Essentially, your butt muscles, the strongest muscles in your body, have stopped firing correctly. When those muscles aren't doing the heavy lifting to stabilize your hips, your legs begin to rotate inward with every single step. This is the common walking mistake I'm talking about. It's called internal femoral rotation, or more simply, the collapse. Imagine your knee as a door hinge. If the door is aligned perfectly, it swings back and forth for 100 years without a squeak. But if you shift the frame just a fraction of an inch, the hinge starts to grind. Every time you open that door, you're shaving off a tiny bit of metal. In your body, that metal is your meniscus and your articular cartilage. When your hip collapses inward because your glutes are weak, your knee follows. Instead of your weight rolling smoothly from your heel to your toe, your knee hunts for stability by wobbling inward. You might not even feel it as a sharp pain at first. It starts as a dull ache after a long walk, or a bit of stiffness when you get out of a chair. But make no mistake, if you are walking 5,000 steps a day with this misalignment, you are essentially taking a hammer to your cartilage 5,000 times a day. Now, why is this happening to seniors specifically? It's a perfect storm of biology and lifestyle. As we age, we naturally lose muscle mass, a process called sarcopenia. Between the ages of 60 and 80, the average person loses about 30% of their muscle strength. The first muscles to go are often the stabilizers, those deep muscles in the hips and core. When these weaken, your body compensates. It shifts the workload to your joints. Furthermore, the nerves that tell your muscles when to fire start to slow down. This is why you might feel less sure-footed than you used to. Your brain is literally losing its high-speed connection to your feet. Then there is the issue of footwear. I see so many seniors wearing maximalist walking shoes, those big, puffy sneakers with 2 inches of foam on the bottom. While they feel like walking on clouds in the store, they are often the worst thing for a senior's knees. Why? Because they act like sensory deprivation chambers for your feet. Your feet have thousands of nerve endings designed to tell your brain exactly what kind of surface you're on. When you wrap them in thick foam, your brain can't feel the ground. To compensate for the lack of stability, your body stiffens the knee joint and slaps the foot down, increasing the impact force that travels straight up into the knee. It's a mechanical disaster, disguised as comfort. Let's talk about the specific numbers and groups affected by this. Research published in the Journal of Orthopedic Research indicates that women are significantly more prone to this specific walking mistake than men. This is due to a biological factor called the Q angle. Because women generally have wider hips for childbirth, the angle from the hip to the knee is more acute. This naturally creates more valgus stress, the tendency for the knees to knock together. Statistics show that women over 65 are nearly twice as likely to undergo knee replacement surgery than men. This isn't just bad luck. It is the result of a wider hip structure combined with the age-related muscle loss we just discussed. If you are a woman watching this, paying attention to your walking gait isn't just a suggestion. It's a requirement for your long-term mobility. So, how do you know if you're making this mistake? There's a simple test you can do right now in your living room. Stand in front of a mirror and slowly perform a shallow, one-legged squat. Just go down a few inches. Watch your knee. Does it track straight over your second toe, or does it dive inward toward your big toe? If it dives inward, you have the collapse. That is the exact movement that is wrecking your knees during your daily walk. Another sign is looking at the soles of your shoes. If the inner edge of the heel or the ball of the foot is significantly more worn down than the outer edge, you are overpronating. Your foot is collapsing inward, dragging your knee along with it. The impact of this is far-reaching. When the knee is misaligned, it creates bone-on-bone pressure on the medial, inner side of the joint. This is where most osteoarthritis begins. Once that cartilage is gone, it doesn't grow back. Medical science has made great strides with injections and surgeries, but as I always say, the best knee surgery is the one you never have to get. In 2025, the average cost of a total knee replacement in the U.S. can exceed $50,000, and the recovery is grueling. The goal of this video is to help you avoid that path by fixing the mechanics now, while you still have cartilage left to protect. Let's get into the solution. How do we fix a lifetime of walking the wrong way? It starts with rewiring the connection between your brain, your hips, and your feet. The first step is what I call the tripod foot. Most people walk with dead feet. They just flop their feet onto the ground. I want you to imagine your foot has 3 points of contact: the center of your heel, the base of your big toe, and the base of your pinky toe. When you walk, you want to feel all 3 points engaging the ground. This naturally creates an arch in your foot. That arch is your body's built-in shock absorber. When the arch collapses, the shock isn't absorbed. It's transmitted directly to your knee. By focusing on the tripod foot, you provide a stable foundation that prevents the knee from rotating inward. The second fix is external rotation cues. When you are walking, I want you to imagine you are trying to screw your feet into the ground, not literally turning them out like a duck, but creating a feeling of outward tension. This tension activates the gluteus medius, the muscle on the side of your hip. This is the guardrail for your knee. When that muscle is active, it is physically impossible for your knee to collapse inward. Think of it as turning on your body's internal stabilization system. It feels strange at first. You might even feel a little burn in your hips after just 5 minutes of walking this way. That's a good thing. That's the sound of your hip muscles waking up from a decade-long nap. The third fix is the glute squeeze. As you take a step and your back leg pushes off the ground, I want you to consciously squeeze the glute on that side. Most seniors walk by falling forward and catching themselves. This is a very quad-dominant way of moving that puts immense pressure on the kneecap, the patella. By squeezing your glute as you push off, you shift the work to the posterior chain. You become a rear-wheel drive walker instead of a front-wheel drive walker. This takes the shear force off the front of your knee and turns your walk into a strengthening exercise for your hips. Now, let's talk about the 3-minute knee saver routine you should do before every walk. You don't need a gym. You just need a wall. The first move is wall slides. Stand with your back against a wall and your feet about 6 inches away. Slowly slide down just a few inches, making sure your knees stay pointed straight ahead and do not touch each other. This teaches your brain the correct alignment. The second move is monster walks, even without a band. Take wide lateral steps across the room, keeping your knees slightly bent and pushed out. This specifically targets those hip stabilizers. The third is toe raises. Simply stand and lift your toes toward your shins. This strengthens the tibialis anterior, the muscle that helps control how your foot hits the ground, preventing that foot slap that rattles your knees. I want to touch on the psychological aspect of this. When your knees hurt, your world gets smaller. You stop going to the grocery store as often. You stop playing with your grandkids on the floor. You stay home because you're afraid of the stairs. This leads to isolation and a decline in cognitive health. There is a direct correlation between physical mobility and brain health in seniors. When you move, you produce a protein called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is like Miracle-Gro for your brain cells. By fixing your walking mechanics, you aren't just saving your knees, you are literally protecting your brain from the effects of aging. Let's look at the hidden factors that wreck your knees. Inflammation is a big one. If you are eating a diet high in processed sugars and industrial seed oils, your joints are already in a pro-inflammatory state. Think of it like this. The mechanical mistake we discussed is the match, but your diet is the gasoline. If your body is already inflamed, a minor mechanical error will cause 10 times more damage than it would in a healthy body. This is why I always advocate for an anti-inflammatory lifestyle alongside movement corrections. Increasing your intake of omega-3 fatty acids from sources like wild-caught salmon or walnuts can actually help lubricate the joints from the inside out. Hydration is another one that seniors often overlook. Your cartilage is roughly 80% water. When you are chronically dehydrated, which many seniors are because the thirst signal weakens as we age, your cartilage becomes brittle. It loses its sponginess. Imagine trying to use a dry, crusty sponge to scrub a floor versus a wet, supple one. The dry sponge crumbles. Your cartilage does the same thing. If you want your knees to handle the impact of walking, you must keep them hydrated. Aim for half your body weight in ounces of water every day as a baseline. I also want to address the no pain, no gain myth. In the senior population, this is dangerous advice. If you feel a sharp stabbing pain in your knee while walking, that is your body's check engine light. Do not push through it. Pushing through sharp pain usually means you are tearing tissue. However, discomfort or stiffness is often okay to move through. There is a big difference between the good burn of a muscle working and the bad sting of a joint failing. Learning to listen to that difference is the key to longevity. Let's talk about surfaces. Where you walk matters just as much as how you walk. Concrete is the most unforgiving surface on the planet. It has zero give. If you have the option, walk on asphalt, which is slightly softer, a gravel path, or best of all, a flat dirt trail or grass. These unstable surfaces actually force your small stabilizer muscles to work harder, which protects the knee in the long run. If you are stuck walking on concrete, like in a mall or on a sidewalk, that tripod foot technique becomes even more critical. You have to be your own shock absorber because the ground certainly isn't going to help you. One final piece of advice that often surprises people. Look at your vision and your hearing. You might wonder what your ears have to do with your knees. Everything. Your balance is governed by your vestibular system, inner ear, and your visual input. If your prescription is out of date or you have untreated hearing loss, your brain has to work much harder just to keep you upright. This causes your body to stiffen as a defense mechanism. A stiff body is a brittle body. When you are guarding against a fall because your balance is off, you walk with a rigid, jarring gait that hammers your knees. Maintaining your sensory health is a backdoor way to protecting your joints. I want you to imagine your life 5 or 10 years from now. Do you see yourself walking through a park, traveling and staying active? Or do you see yourself limited by a walker or a wheelchair? The choice is often made in the small, boring details of how you move today. This common walking mistake is something you can start fixing the very next time you stand up. It doesn't require a prescription. It doesn't cost a dime. It only requires your attention. Start small. Don't try to go for a 3-mile walk with these new mechanics tomorrow. Your muscles aren't ready for that. Start by walking across your kitchen using the tripod foot and the glute squeeze. Do it for 2 minutes, then 4 minutes. Gradually retrain your nervous system. Within a few weeks, these conscious movements will become unconscious habits. You'll find that the clicking in your knees starts to diminish. The morning stiffness starts to fade. You'll find yourself walking faster and with more confidence. I want to zoom out and remind you why we do this. We don't exercise just to add years to our life. We do it to add life to our years. Mobility is freedom. It is the ability to visit friends, to see the world, and to remain the master of your own home. Don't let a simple mechanical error rob you of that freedom. You've worked too hard for too many years to be sidelined now. If this video helped you understand your body a little better, please hit that like button. It tells the algorithm that this kind of science-based health advice for seniors is important, and it helps us reach more people who might be struggling in silence. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. We are building a community here of people who are proactive about their health, who question the inevitabilities of aging, and who are committed to staying strong, sharp, and mobile. I want to hear from you in the comments. Have you been told you have bone-on-bone arthritis? Have you noticed your knees caving in when you walk or stand up from a chair? Or perhaps you found a specific shoe or exercise that changed everything for you? Share your story. We learn so much from each other's experiences, and your comment might be exactly what someone else needs to read today to feel hopeful. Your journey truly inspires us. Think about this. Every corrective step is a victory for your future self. When you choose to walk with intention and focus on your biomechanics, you are essentially investing in a life without limitations. This isn't just about avoiding a surgery. It is about embracing the vitality you deserve. By mastering these simple shifts in your daily stroll, you ensure that your golden years are truly spent on your feet, exploring the world with joy and confidence. Take a look at your feet. Check your alignment. Squeeze those glutes. You have the power to change how you age, one step at a time. Take care of your joints, stay curious, and I will see you in the next video. Keep moving.